Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and it's 2025 now. As crazy as that is to be saying, but 2025, Wizard101 is still around, and it will be celebrating its 17th birthday this year. And for those of y'all coming to this video who have not played in maybe 13 years out of those 17, let me tell you, quite a lot has changed. There's so many new worlds, there's been so much new content, and this is going to be the year where we get the 5th story arc. And if you haven't played in 10 years, at least as of when I upload this video, there are only 2 completed story arcs, but now there's about to be 5. As crazy as that is. So it's a lot has changed, and as you can see, there's still a lot of people playing this game, and even though it's an old game, it's still a good game. People still love to play it, and yeah, I mean, I did have to turn off the chat bubbles because, I mean, even the old players will know commons chat gets a little crazy, especially when it's 12:36 a.m. Just had to look at my other monitor for a moment. But yeah, I mean, there's so much new stuff that got added. And first and foremost, I want to say right now that the max level is now 170. And I did say this in last year's video as well, but this will be going up to 180 this year. And I mean, there's no signs of stopping at the moment. Like, I think we can expect to see level 200 in, what is it going to be, 2027? That's going to be when we get to level 200, assuming they stay on schedule. So, the fall of 2027, we're going to see level 200, which is insane to me, but I mean, look, that's where we're going to be heading. And for now, Wizard101 in 2025, I am going to say this right out of the gate, that no, the paywall has not moved. We did have some, I guess, signs of hope recently that maybe it might have moved, but then the developers decided, no, it's really not going to move. But I will say one thing. If y'all have not played in over a decade, they have started at least opening up the zones like, Firecat Alley, Cyclops Lane, even the Oasis as of recent has been opened, and for free, by the way, with limited time events. So they'll run like a free Wizard City event, a free Wizard City and Crocotopia event. They'll also run free membership a few times a year. We just recently had one for the Yuletide/Christmas season, and it was about 2 weeks of free membership, and like a lot of people were playing, and people really made the most of that. So I can really get behind that. It's like the paywall itself may not have moved, but KingsIsle Entertainment has become quite a bit more generous. Their old CEO has been out of the picture since 2021, about 4 years ago now, as insane as that is to say out loud. But 4 years ago, in January of 21, KingsIsle was acquired by GameAgo, which is this massive gaming corporation. And I mean, some of y'all may have heard about this. I do remember it making some waves, but GameAgo has the resources to keep this game alive for decades to come, and I think that's what's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, you love to see that. So, I mean, even though GameAgo, it's got kind of a reputation, I haven't seen too much in terms of extra microtransactions. I mean, these are still a pain in the neck. I'm talking about Horde and Lore packs, but, they're doing some interesting, like, deals, like the Dragon's Horde pack, 12 packs for the price of 10. Never stop gambling. Gambling is always the answer. But yeah, it's like there's a bunch of new packs, so if you do decide you want to spend money on this game, I still would say don't, but that is entirely up to you. So, I mean, there's so much new gear. I mean, like, Darkmoor was 10 years ago now, As crazy as that is, 10 years ago, the fall of 2014 was when the 4 dungeons got added, and now it's the winter of 2025, and it's been a long time. And like, this is the current damage cap at 238. They did have to cap damage now because like, storms could get up to 281 or something like that with full damage jewels, and you know, jewels have been a thing since 2015. I'm sure many of you watching this might have at least checked out the game once or twice in the years since, but you know, this is what gear looks like now. This is an athame that drops from the Doom Moon in the world of Novus at the end of the Wallaru quest line. Bit confusing, I know, maybe I should use a different example. This is the Fierce Dream Reaver Amulet, which drops from a side quest in Wallaru, which is the final world in the game right now. Wallaru is the level 170 world, but it was not the last piece of content to get added. Selenopolis, which is an expansion to Krokotopia, and I'm sure like real old players know about Wintertusk being an expansion to Grizzleheim. This is similar, and you know, they also did like a full revamp of Krokotopia. So what I'm going to right now is one of the sublocations of Selenopolis. This is the Tomb of the Forgotten. As y'all know, you know, there's fire, ice, and storm themed areas in the main world. There are death, myth, and life themed areas in the Selenopolis expansion. So, I mean, there's also friendly players. I mean, I'm just clicking on things without even thinking about explaining them. But it's like, there's so many new things. And chief among the cool new things that came with the Selenopolis update is magic weaving. This super cool looking room here in Selenopolis, Krokotopia, is the Blended Grove. And this is where you can learn to fuse schools of magic. So, as a storm, you'll see here that it says Lightning Weaver as opposed to Supreme Diviner. That basically means that my main school right here is Storm, but I am weaving fire. And what that means is this tree Charlie, she, like, you grind out some stuff and you can like get new stuff from like there's new spells, there's new fusion spells out. Like, I mean, the Storm and Fire ones aren't really that great, but you know, you've got a Fire Kraken now that can actually put up overtimes, which is pretty cool. You've got Lightning Goon, which is honestly a pretty strong overtime for 5 pips, and you know, I don't know if it can actually show me some of this other stuff. This is the life tree. So if I were to go to train here, you know, there's also like Selenopolis also brought with it like a bunch of new auras. It's like Flood Amplify. If you're basically you're gonna see a constant here. If you're weaving into all of these schools, you get something that, you know, the school sort of does. So with life, as of late, they have the developers have made life an aura school. So Flood Amplify is now a card that you can get if you weave into life, and basically this is like a plus 30% outgoing life and storm damage aura. Still gets outclassed by Frenzy, but what can you do about that? There's also, I mean, the new fusion spells. It's like some of y'all may have seen like that Leviathan reskin, Eternal Leviathan. This is basically, they've reused a lot of those old animations, and just so we are completely clear, I don't know how I got this far without mentioning it, but these are fusion formulae, whatever you want to say. So I have a card called Hecate. And I'm using the B path on the spell elements type thing, which got added in 2019, and they've been updating that ever since, and I'll show you that in a moment if you're an old player. But Hecate here is, you know, like a 4-pip card if you're taking it on this path, and basically these fusion formulae can make one spell do different things if you have different cards in your deck that you combine with it. So you can turn this, you know, 4-pip Hecate from, you know, do 560 storm damage and, you know, apply a negative aura, which are things now, by the way. You can, rather than just being able to put auras on yourself, you can put negative auras on the target, and you can boost their damage. A common one that you'll see a lot is Attenuate, which is just a plus 20% universal damage buff. So that's pretty neat. And then negative auras, you know, this one in particular will put a minus 30% chromatic aura on the target if the caster has a heal overtime on, which Storm has become a heal overtime school for some reason. But I mean, there's so many cool new things. And then, you know, you can fuse it with a Storm Blade here and turn it into a Hecate's Strike, which like nearly doubles the damage and gives you 30% Storm Blades. So very strong, very good to combo with in PvP, that type of deal. Or if you combine it with Starfall, which I don't have because they haven't run the free training point buyback benefit in quite some time, you can get Hecate's Curse, which costs 6 pips as opposed to the 7 here and the 4 on the base that I have. Although the base version of Hecate that I don't have, that's just pure damage, is also 7 pips. So just a heads up, that's all the Selenopolis spells are. But if you combine a Hecate of any kind with a Starfall, which is this negative aura that you see here that I just don't have, you can fuse them, 785 storm damage, and it will put a minus 25% outgoing damage for 4 rounds. So it basically does, okay, no cleanse charm, but basically it does what this does, except like slightly less potent and not chromatic, and you don't need a heal overtime on yourself, and it does a lot more damage for 2 extra pips. So very, very cool. But I mean, there's just so much to learn with the new updates, and really the best that I can give you is like, just play the game for yourself, and you will see just how cool like all the new stuff is. It's like it's a completely different game these days. And then I also, one thing, and I probably should not have gone on my Storm to record this, because if you weave into Storm, what you can get is, I know I did that on my Fire, so I can go to my Fire Wizard here, and I can show y'all what happens if you are weaving into Storm. So, as you can see here, Inferno Weaver, that means Fire Main with Storm Weave. And what you can see here is, you can see, obviously, the Fusion, but there is one more card that I've got to show y'all. And I recommend weaving into Storm on every school, like I guess except for Storm, because Storm can't weave into Storm, that's their main school. But if you are not a Storm Wizard, definitely weave into it if you are a PvE player. For PvP, there's some different stuff, like some schools will weave Fire, some schools will weave Death, some will weave Myth. There's a lot of different things to choose from there. But if you're doing strictly PvE, weave Storm, because look at this. Look at this. 2 pips, or like a Storm pip, and there's Arch Mastery now, so it's like, if y'all remember Mastery Amulets, now you can, you know, click this in your inventory, and you can set this to Storm, and the power pips that you get will apply for Storm as well. So, like on the first round, I'll get like my starting power pip, I'll get an extra pip from my deck, and then I will get a Storm pip. So it's like the starting power pip comes from the wand, starting regular pip comes from the deck, but then your starting just regular pip will come as a Storm pip, which means you can use this Inferno Blade to buff up both a Fire and Storm hit. You can choose between either. I mean, it'll obviously put both blades on you, but then you can also hit with Storm if you so choose. But the main thing here is, even though it's 2 pips, that is a 45 blade that you can then sharpen for a 55 blade that stacks. So, need I say more? But yeah, I mean, that is a lot of the stuff that has come with the newest update with Selenopolis. But, I mean, there is just so much cool stuff. Like guilds got added. I just pressed Shift Home on my keyboard, and this is the guild house. It's like y'all might have been wondering what, you know, Periwinkle Squad, Deathly Penguins, what all those were saying. And then you go on the social tab, you know, recent wizards. This got added just this past year in 2024, where you can see who you've quested with and done battles with in the last, I don't know, 24 hours, something like that. I don't know how long it logs. You know, there's groups, there's adventure parties, which are honestly really, really cool. And then you've also got your guild, and this is the Periwinkle Squad Guild. This guild does raids a lot, which is going to sound completely foreign, but if you've played games like Destiny 2, you'll understand what a raid is in an MMO. And for Wiz, 12 players get together and just do really, really hard endgame content with a bunch of like puzzles and whatnot. So, pretty neat. And then, yeah, I mean, there's the recruiter badge will allow you to add different people to your guild. So, you know, this is the Periwinkle Squad Guild, and yeah, this Eric Shadowbright, I think that is Scuttleverse in our guild. He is the leader. You'll see this little flag here, and yeah, I mean, guilds are really, really cool. So y'all understand how it is, but yeah, it's like there's just so much new stuff, and I highly recommend. Oh god, this guy's gonna be really loud. Hold on. But yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend looking through and just playing the game for yourself. I don't know when the next free membership is going to be. Usually they'll run one like early in the summer, and then they'll run one during like Christmas time. And then usually they'll throw one out kind of at random one more time in the year. That's what they've been doing at least, but yeah, I mean, for now, if you are an old player like I am, and you played in, I don't know, 2011, like I did, and you just never could afford to pay for, like, crowns or a membership, that type of deal, and now you can, because it is 14 years after 2011 now, which is insane to think about, but it's 14 years later, and now maybe you can pay for membership. And I would highly recommend paying for membership over buying areas with crowns, because there's also a bunch of different member benefits. If I could just go ahead and teleport to our daily assignments guy, Aegon stats here in Ravenwood, that's also a thing that's come up in the last 10 years. If I go to the Pet Pavilion using the Social tab, Friendly Wizards, and then I click on Friendly Wizard and then teleport to them, you can see, I kind of wish that this teleporter was a little closer to the game that I actually have some mastery in, but you can see that if I were to, well, I guess I can't really feed this pet because it's Ultra, but let's say I wanted to feed this Leaffoot, which I probably do anyway, but just so I can get it as a base. But you can see here, Ambrosia, this usually gives 50 pet XP. It gives 100, because at the moment, the developers will turn on member benefits through like the weekends and all that. And when I'm recording this, it is a double pet XP weekend, so you can train pets up much quicker, which is a very, very popular member benefit, as I'm sure you could guess. And I mean, it is so much easier to train pets. All these special event points, by the way, these are contributing to the Pet Promenade event, which is also a thing that's going on right now. But yeah, I mean, I can't really say play the game and experience it for yourself in enough languages. Like, this is really, really cool. The Scroll of Fortune is like a battle pass. But yeah, I mean, there's so much new stuff. I've been yapping for 18.5 minutes. Basically, the bottom line is play the game for yourself, because so much has changed, and I promise you'll love it. There's all this like new cool looking gear here too as well. Okay, that comes from a pack, but don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, there's all this cool new gear. It's like, you look at some of the stats on these. Like, this is the Reaver set. Let me go back on my storm, because there's like the best gear set has changed drastically, and I mean, you kind of get the gist by now. I'm just gonna keep telling y'all, you know, play the game and experience it for yourself, because it is truly way different these days, and I am all for it. So yeah, I mean, like, this robe drops from a raid, which didn't exist, 5 years ago. So there is that. But yeah, that is going to wrap up this video. So welcome to 2025, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. And I will see y'all later.